Hare Krishna, Merry Christmas. How's everybody doing out there? This is Vandal the Love Handle Drummond with Fredo Esparza. Frito and the Freak, back for episode number 50 of LuchaWorld. Got so many things to go over. 2015, Fredo, has been an amazing year news-wise.
It has been. It actually has been.
We probably, in the last couple of months, could have done 2 podcasts a week. And
well, you know, it's funny, when we first started doing the actually not this podcast, but the Slam and Stand podcast, we were really, like, I think we did every 2 weeks, but it wasn't as easy to get, like, it wasn't that it was as difficult to get news, but there wasn't as much to talk about lucha-related.
Definitely not.
Whereas now, there's so much going on, and there's so much more now available online that you can watch and stuff like that. That you could actually do. You could actually do a weekly lucha podcast and be okay with it.
Easily. You could do You could actually do a half-hour podcast.
Half hour. I don't. Well, yeah. You know,
what I was thinking, if you did a half-hour podcast 3 times a week, just to cover all the different promotions, do a little synopsis.
Well, I mean, like right now, if you do a weekly podcast, if you have time to watch one CMLL show, the AAA show, which they're finally uploading onto YouTube. Although Cubs fan was doing it before that. IWRG, and then maybe some other indie group or something else. You got enough for an hour. You know, enough content. Throw in some news. The CMLL stuff, I mean, there's like more than one show every week anyway, so it's like Puebla. If you could stay awake through Puebla, you could probably do a podcast. Well, and this past week, if you stayed awake for this past week's Puebla show, you deserve some applause, you know, because that show was really bad.
Well, you know, and it always baffles me when there's a show that's really lame, but they know there's cameras around, and they know this is going to be circulating. Well, you know,
and it's like the one show you're airing live on online. You know, like they have so many shows, and you know, it's like every once in a while I'll have somebody ask me, "So which of the CMLL shows is the show to watch?"
Yeah,
and like when we were getting all the shows on TV or online or anything like that, you tell them, take your pick, because every other week something might be worse than the other one, or something's going to be better than the other one, because it's like it's constantly, it's not.
It can be unpredictable.
Yeah, it's like, and you know, right now the problem right now is like it's basically Puebla and the Friday CMLL show that are really available, because you don't get the Saturday show, you don't get the Sunday show, and the Tuesday show right now we're not getting either. So it's like those 2 shows, and then you're getting I think there's a Guadalajara show airing in Mexico, and that's about it right now.
Wow.
Compared to what we were getting before. LATV might get the other show, but they're always replaying, and I think you might have caught LATV once, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was always replays, right? When you were watching it?
Replays for a while. Yeah. Then Time Warner would have the channel where the matches were like 6 weeks old.
Oh, yeah, really? Oh, the Time Warner Sports.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
That was the Cadena Tres show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't get that anymore.
Now, Lucha Azteca, it's just a few weeks back, but
yeah, now they're 3 weeks behind. They used to be, I think, 2 weeks. Now they're 3 weeks.
Yeah, I rewatched.
I didn't have to pay for Sombra versus Volador. That's the good one.
Yeah, I rewatched.
I would have paid if they had a better lineup. But
I rewatched the Increíbles match with Rush, Mystico, Sombra, and Volador Jr. Just as good as I remember seeing it live.
Yeah,
that was a really fun.
Yeah,
match.
So it's like, and AAA. I mean, AAA. They went through that rut where they weren't posting, and that's the only problem. Like, they don't do it as often. They don't update it. Their videos now, they're doing it because Oscar's, their webmaster's back. I think they uploaded like 4 shows recently. So it's like you're not gonna. And you know, the other thing is like AAA. You could be watching stuff from like a week ago, like whatever their show was. Like, I mean, their most recent show was November 6th, I think. And a lot has happened since then. You know, it's like, you know, there's like their storylines that were like, well, that's not going to work anymore because that guy's gone, or that's not going to work because that show's not happening. So it's like
you have to juggle angle storylines.
Yeah, so it's like right now it's like really weird. Like their situations. Both promotions have weird situations.
It's funny. Now. I know Lucha Underground is a different animal, a totally different show. But one of the things that makes it strong is editing and. To be honest, in this day and age, if I was... Well, maybe it's not in their power, I don't know. But the shows that they put on, Lucha Azteca or, AAA, sometimes I wonder
why put that much matchup.
Yeah.
Well, with AAA it doesn't. It's not because it's only one show. Like,
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
And like they actually pick some good, but like with CMLL, when it's the live show, especially the Puebla show, you're like, why are they booking these guys for CMLL shows? I mean, like like some of these guys, like Thunder, Inquisidor, and all these, some Kimura. It's like, why Canelo Casas was on the last show? It's like, why are these guys? Well, you know why they're there, because they have family in the promotion. Yeah. It's like man, at some point you just gotta tell your relative, you're not really that good. I would be like the worst. I would be like the worst person to run a lucha promotion.
The fans would like you.
Yeah, I know. I'd be like, you guys you're not that good, like you're okay. You're not that great, but
well, of course, everybody, American fans always point to promoter Nick Goulas pushing his son George Goulas as the top draw.
Well, picture like 15 George Goulases in CMLL right now.
His is one of those few lessons where him being so stubborn and pushing his son on top, and I heard even his son today admits I wasn't that good.
The weird thing is,
but like that actually did the promotion in. He went from being top dog to
well, that you see CMLL, like you don't see them drawing a lot of people because like it's they don't have like the star power because of all the parody booking they do with all the everybody's like there's not really like a standout star. Like when Sombra left, it wasn't like this huge loss because he really wasn't the main attraction. He was never booked as the main attraction. He was booked as one of the many guys. I mean, Rush is kind of like the main attraction, but he's not treated that way because he's kind of like he's in that group with Ultimo Guerrero, Atlantis, Mystico, Thunder. They're all main event guys. It's like even Thunder's a main event guy, and it's like, how is that guy a main event guy?
That Thunder is the question mark of the year.
So then I think it helps that you could lose these guys, but then like the undercard, it's like, oh man, you got like these really good workers, and they're working against like these really bad workers. Like, how are these guys going to improve? How are they going to have good matches? It's like how can you have like Soberano Jr. wrestling against Inquisidor and Kimura and Canelo Casas? I mean, Rey Cometa was in a trios match, and he's in there with Canelo Casas. I mean, that guy is not even.
He's probably thinking.
And Rey Cometa's wondering, why am I in this? Why am I in this match? He was in a Puebla match, and it was like him and Okamura were like at a different level. Mm-hmm. When Okamura looks a lot better than the other guys, you're in trouble. Yeah. it's like, and so like they were working at a faster pace, and like the other guys were like, just like they it wasn't that they weren't trying; it's just they're not that level. So it's like, and Bengala was okay too, but yeah.
Well, I mean, even indie level this is me being the old man, but I remember when I was starting out, indie level promoters who had a bit of a clue, even ones who weren't great promoters, but even they knew, like, okay, this guy's super green. Don't put him in with another green guy. Put him in with somebody who'd carry him.
Well, like even
it seems like people don't give that a second thought now.
Like even indie shows, like I could understand a guy being really bad in an indie show because that's like you got to look at the indie promotion and figure out, this guy, it's an indie promotion. You're gonna get a bad match and all. But CMLL is supposed to be like they should have a standard, like they're like the maybe one or two in Mexico as far as promotions go. And they're booking guys who would probably not even be booked by half the half the indie promotions in Mexico. I'm sure there's some that would, but it's like I doubt they would be. They'd probably bring them in as a favor, maybe. Because like some of these guys, like, holy shit, how are they?
Is it interesting now? With all the jumps from AAA, I heard it's a similar situation where there's a pool of people kind of at the top. And others are not being elevated.
With AAA right now, I think it's mostly like the guys who aren't getting booked in Lucha Underground that might be questioning their, because I mean this elite group supposedly offering more money, throwing out more money,
right? So like
they're trying to see who jumps. The upcoming show, they were able to get Taboo.
Now Taboo.
He worked in AAA. I think he's related. I can't remember. I think he's related to Parker or something, and. He's not good. He's not good. It's like you're just like if you're trying to get Taboo to like join your promotion, it's kind of like you're already struggling. They're supposed to have a surprise luchador on.
Is it a way of them just sticking their sticking their tongue out at AAA, saying, "Look, we got one of your."
Yeah, I think it's more that because it's like you look at the some of the names that they're bringing in. I mean, Eterno's actually pretty good, but I mean Argos. They're bringing in a mini Caronte.
Oh, really?
Caronte is Dr. Caronte is the father of Caristico and all these other guys. So Mini Caronte is probably we're trying to figure out, maybe it's Mini Murder Clown.
Oh,
who used to wrestle in AAA.
Okay.
So if it's him, I mean, did they really go out of their way to go after this guy? I mean,
interesting.
It's like one of those dudes that's really. Is it really necessary to really go after Mini Caronte and?
Promoters get weird.
Yeah,
they do.
But you know the weird thing about Elite is like even like from the way they're booked, there really is there's no real like end game. You don't see an end game to it. Like
it's also one of the reasons why I never even wanted to do indie shows, because I've known several people who, before they get involved in promoting, they actually have a pretty good understanding of what you do and what you don't do. But then when they are in the eye of the hurricane, they're actually running shows. They break every one of those rules and have some rationale why they're doing it. Yeah, so they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Taboo is actually La Parca AAA's brother. Oh. I just wanted to make ssure that I was right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's probably friends with Cibernetico, so he brought him in. So that's kind of interesting if that maybe means La Parca AAA might jump. But I mean, what are we going to call him? If he leaves AAA, he's not going to be able to use the name.
I don't know.
Because LA Park had trouble with that, so I doubt he's going to jump and...
Call him Parquet?
LA Parquet.
Parquet? Do they still have Parquet Margarine on the market?
Probably. Okay, in Mexico.
Yeah,
just kidding. Well, probably in Mexico.
Yeah, he'd be Parquet, Tequila, and Caristico, like I said, would sell
Caristico, yes.
Yes, you know.
But it's one of those weird things where it's like, it just doesn't make sense. Some of the guys that they're bringing in,
guys become immature.
Yeah.
War. Well,
we'll get back to Elite in a bit, but it's
like the passing of El Bello Greco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was bummed when I heard this news. I very vividly remember seeing the tag team Sergio El Hermoso and Bello Greco.
Again, for newer fans that might not know who he is, he's Alan Stone and Chris Stone and Super Kello's father.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Super Kello's probably the one they know more than anybody else.
Yeah, he's probably the most familiar to them.
Alan and Chris Stone. I don't know what happened to Super Kello. I mean, I always thought he was really good.
I liked him.
Yeah.
I thought he was really
His last run in AAA, I thought he was misused. For some reason, I thought they could have gotten more out of him.
Oh, they probably could.
He did really good, and like when he was doing the Guapos and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he could have done more.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Yeah. So back to Bello Greco.
Well, I guess I should first, talk about the whole, the way the exotico gimmick worked in Mexico as opposed to here in the United States. In the U.S., they had a lot of Buddy Rogers types, a lot of
Nature Boys
or Hollywood Blondes.
Gorgeous George, probably.
Yeah, but they were just portrayed as more flamboyant.
Yeah.
They were still dudes.
Yeah, not gay, like they were gay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I even remember around 1978 when Tom Burke used to put out a monthly newsletter, he had some info about Adrian Street, who had not, been on this continent at the time.
I was always surprised when he went to Mexico that he didn't have a good time wrestling in Mexico because he didn't like the style.
He didn't like the style.
And then you think about British wrestling, it's like, okay, I kind of understand it.
But it's funny. There's British wrestlers who go there and.
Because before I even knew he went to Mexico, I thought, man, he could have been a huge star in Mexico the way he was as an exotico.
Yeah, he did the gimmick really well.
He was more of a badass. He kind of tried to be more of a badass.
But if you watch the old matches that you can find on YouTube, nobody did the gimmick like him, and he was a really good worker. But if you look at some of those other Brits work, those guys
a lot better.
Technicalized were head and heels.
Yeah, because he seemed more like a brawler than.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know he never had the highest opinion of the Mexican. In fact, I remember
Well, then
There was a photo. There was a photo I had taken of Greco and Hermoso at the Olympic, and he said, "That's a very nice photo, but I don't like those blokes."
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, I thought that was kind of odd. I guess when he got to Mexico, I don't know. This is just my own perception. I thought he didn't realize there would be so much competition because he was unique in his.
Yeah, I think that's probably why he probably was jealous or something.
Yeah, but I remember when I
Probably a hater,
saw
man.
photos of him in Burke's newsletter, I just thought, man, this is bold. This is daring. They never tried anything like that in America.
Yeah.
And all I had seen about exoticos in Mexico was what I saw in the magazines. I never actually got to see Adorable Ruby work. I'd be really curious to see him in action because from what I understand, he totally revolutionized the
Yeah, I heard it was good.
Yeah, and made it one of the few who turned the gimmick into like a serious wrestler.
Because it was like a big name. Like,
he is.
Yeah.
Was it a light heavyweight title I think he had? But he's actually up there as a
He was
singles.
the hardcore champion.
Yeah, that's right. Tables, ladders,
Yeah, tables and ladders.
before it was popular.
Yes.
No, but so when I went to a show at the Olympic Auditorium, they were promoting every other Friday night for a while, and it was Sergio El Hermoso, Bello Greco, teaming with El Medico, who local fans will remember was Apollo Jalisco or Apollo Casillas, whichever you please. And it's the first time I saw wrestlers get in the ring and just swish like they were queer to the core, like totally.
Yeah, like playing it up.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, they were just like right out of La Cage aux Folles, the old French comedy. That was remade into the Birdcage very poorly, might I add.
Yeah.
The one with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane.
I've never seen any of these movies.
Oh, if you saw the Birdcage, you'd say, "What was that about?" If you saw La Cage aux Folles, it's the same story, only it was done right. But I digress. Anyways, but I was just blown away. Like, here's these guys just being gay.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I remember other Americans saying, well, I bet they'd never do a gimmick like that in Mexico because they're so macho there. And
they sure enough they did.
they did. They outdid anything we could.
And now they do it like to the point where you have like transgender.
Well, it's the real
wrestlers.
thing. It's not
yeah.
just a gimmick
Now it's not.
Yeah.
Now it's not like this. You're surprised if the guy is actually straight because so many of them are like gay or transgender.
Yeah, exactly. Well, every time they came to the Olympic, I made a point of being there just because they just popped the crowd wonderfully. But the only thing that I didn't like was they went a little overboard portraying themselves as clumsy and
yeah, because they were doing the lucha stuff like the
exactly
comedy.
Exactly. It was strictly comedy. But it was still a turning point. I mean, I just saw the first time I ever saw the gimmick done a lot closer to what it should be, and I mean, they were spot on with it.
Well, then there's the tag match from Japan. That's probably the one that's most famous.
Yes, that's right.
The Bello Greco Sergio Hermoso versus Fujiwara and I think Kimura.
Was it Kimura? Yes, it was.
Kimura?
It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he would they would wink at each other and everything. They were playing it up towards like, oh, they're gonna get to wrestle. Like they were making eyes at Kengo Kimura. Like, dude, seriously, this is hilarious.
Oh, they were great. They worked that gimmick beautifully.
Yeah.
And a program I would have loved to have seen is
But the weird thing is, you look at Bello Greco. He looked like he wasn't a guy he looked like he could handle himself. He wasn't
definitely.
He wasn't a guy you could fuck around with.
And if you look at some of the magazines from the late 60s, early 70s, when he was simply El Greco, he looked pretty badass.
Yeah.
And I mean, both he and Hermoso were really, really good workers. So I was really sad to hear he passed away. I think it was the 27th of November.
It's weird because I think it was Ruby, Greco, and Sergio, and then it was Baby Sharon replacing Adorable Ruby, right, with the group.
Yes.
And then after that, it was Rudy Reyna. Really, Rudy Reyna was I guess Sergio kind of did have the feminine, like he kind of acted a little more than, because Baby Sharon and Bello Greco, they did do that role, but they look a little scarier, little more bad. Sergio looked a little more like he didn't look as scary. Like he looked like somebody you'd probably like bully at some point.
Exactly, he was the shy of being Liberace.
Yeah, and then Rudy Reyna was actually a gay guy. So
yeah, and a badass.
Yeah, and a badass too, which is another thing. But it's like it kind of just kept evolving because then you had Pimpinella, Cassandro, and all these other guys. But you hear like all these guys like them not really being fans of the next generation of exoticals. Like I think Cassandro's not as high on the current like group.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's partly a generational thing. And if I remember right, Bello Greco didn't really like the current crop because, well, I think because they were legit. He kind of said it was a little like tasteful,
over the top.
Yeah, but that's the other turning point. Is when the first time I saw Pimpinella Escarlata, because I saw a guy who was living the gimmick, but he could go. I mean,
yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, I remember there's one match with the Villanos where, I mean, he was going hold to hold like really aggressively with them, and
well, that's what like when I think it was Cassandra who mentioned that Rudy Reyna was the one that said if you're gonna do the gimmick, you had to be really good in the ring. Like he was told to be that good, and he's like, so you had to not only be good in the ring, but you had to be able to take care of yourself in and out of the ring because you were going to get, there was always a chance something could happen.
It takes balls to do that gimmick in certain circles.
Well, you kind of do the exotico gimmick, don't you? With,
I love doing it.
Yeah.
Until I fell into the kind of hippie gimmick.
Until because even Vandal Drummond was kind of effeminate, wasn't it? At one point, then it just kind of like. As you got older, it was more of a the hippie gimmick.
Exactly.
Because I remember there ran a Paraguayo show where that little girl called you a very rude.
That's right.
Name.
Very incorrect.
Yes,
name.
Something a little Mexican girl shouldn't be saying.
A word she should not even be aware of at that age.
Although, I mean, it doesn't sound as bad when they say it in Spanish as they do in English.
Yeah, I think it's a little more mean-spirited. Well, that was the other funny thing is when I saw Hermoso and Greco, even in 81, they were the heels all the time. And, even kind of just, starting to understand the business at the time, I think I was around 19, the one thing that I thought, okay, they get polite heat, but they don't get heat. And I kind of thought, what if they turned them Technico? And
that's the other thing. They would become like huge.
Exactly. And then when I went to start going to Tijuana regularly, that was when Bello Adon was
a babyface, and he got a huge pop. Yeah.
And sure enough, whenever Pimpinella and them are Technicos, they get much better pops than when they're heels.
Maximo.
Exactly. I mean, how can you really hate an exotic?
Yeah, you can't really hate them because they're like so like they play it off like they're. I don't know. And you can't because I don't think there's as many heel exoticos nowadays too. Like Mamba's probably the only one.
Yeah, because I just don't think it's that effective. I don't get real heel.
Yeah.
You get snickers and polite booing.
Yeah, Bello Greco. I mean, I don't think he ever worked CMLL, did he? Like he was never considered a. I think he was an independent from the moment he started. He went to UWA, which was considered an independent promotion. AAA afterwards was his final run.
In fact, when I first started watching him, that's when I really got into like just buying all the Lucha mags I could, and they were one of the main ones I would find info on. And in fact, on the magazines like El Halcon, Lucha Libre, they were on a lot of covers. I mean, they were, and they had a feud with Rudy Reyna. Oh, and who was the other exotico? I can't remember. That culminated in a hair versus hair match, and there was a great cover photo of them just cutting the hair of Arena and just it
Mayflowers? No,
before their time. This was like 81.
Yeah.
So.
Polvo de Estrellas. That's like
when he was a little kid.
That's the only one that really like freaks me out. Polvo de Estrellas.
Yeah, that's an odd one. Yeah, that's an odd one.
I'm still waiting for Elite to bring in Polvo de Estrellas to feud with Maximum. Although I wouldn't be upset because I always call him Mexican Goldust.
That's right.
That's what he looks like. He's supposed to be kind of like Goldust.
Polvo de Oro. Yeah.
Polvo de Estrellas, but he looks like a like if you took Goldust and just like squished them, like turn him Mexican. That's him.
It is odd. It's not just an exotic gimmick. It's
just like itself. Did you ever see Mini Goldust?
I never saw
Mini Goldust. Mini Mankind, Mini Vader.
I saw Mini Mankind, Mini Vader. Yeah.
Pena was ahead of his time,
This is true. This is true. He made the move.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened today, actually, Boxy Lucha posted that they were selling their set of, I guess it's like 10 volumes of every single issue of Boxy Lucha.
Oh my god. Wow. And what is the sticker price for?
The sticker price at the moment is $63,000 if you want the entire set. US dollars. It's like 1 million pesos.
So if there's any philanthropists out there who
Anybody
want us to do our research, I do have to say,
anybody want to get together and like split it? Like, 63,000. I'm guessing they'll lower it to somewhere like 50,000.
Yeah, I won't lie if
I'm currently taking bids on Kurt's Lucha magazine collection. I'll start at 63,000.
No, I do have to say, if I were independently wealthy, I would drop that money so fast.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're going to get one magazine for research in Mexico's history.
Plus, I dig that they're in binder, like the bind, like book.
It's like
put them like an encyclopedia type of thing.
I saw the photo on
Yes.
Twitter. That
like
was
I'll put
awesome.
that. People will show up at my house. They'll be, is that a Boxy Lucha encyclopedia? And I'd be like, why? Yes, it is.
Yeah. What information would you like?
Yes. Would you like to know when Santo passed away? Let's say Hijo de Santo's like, oh, he's not dead.
What totally, the thing I loved about Boxy Lucha is if you open issues, especially from the 60s and 70s, you didn't just get the results from Arena Mexico, or Coliseo. You got results from like little cow towns, regional shows. You saw features on like the regional stars.
They wouldn't tell you the exact like time or stuff of the show, but you kind of had to guess it more or less.
They would say this past
Sunday. Like, and you'd be like,
And there were occasional streaks where they would put the dates, but it was almost random. I mean, you could figure it out.
But that's a Mexican thing. Thing. We're very disorganized.
But the amazing thing, maybe you're very disorganized.
Well, not me.
But they had a...
All the Mexicans. By Mexicans, I mean everyone else.
That's right. That's right. You heard it from Fredo.
Everyone but me. No, just kidding.
Now, but the thing that always blows me away is Mexico, especially Boxy Lucha, had a much greater sense of wrestling history than any publication in America.
Yeah.
Until until Wrestling Observer really came around. I mean,
I wonder how much Dave is gonna charge us for like his entire run of his issues.
63,000.
63,000. I wonder if you. It's like 63,000 sounds like a good number.
That's right. That's right.
Dave, we want you to bind it in a book. And he'd be like, what? Yeah, he probably would do that too.
Well, I'm eccentric, but I'm not rich. So if I were eccentric and rich, I would buy this in a heartbeat. I mean...
The photos, too, and all that stuff.
Yes.
It's just... because we have... I mean, you have a lot of Boxy Lucha magazines from that era.
Yes.
But they're like... A lot of them are missing a lot of stuff.
Exactly. There's pages missing.
There's like, oh, man, this is missing like the...
Specifically the ones from the 60s, and I would love to know the story, because... I did not get those Boxy Luchas from one source. Over the years...
Different people.
At least 4 different sources. But the ones in the 60s must have all come from one...
What if you bought the Boxy Lucha in the binders and stuff like that, in the books or whatever there, and they were all like torn, like they had missing pictures and stuff.
Wouldn't that be funny if that's the way they were issued?
Yeah, they were issued like that. You're like, what?
Like it's not. It was never really a magazine. Yeah. It was a work of performance.
Yes,
artwork.
It was actually done that way.
They were all carved out. That was how they came.
You get the cover and everything else is carved out. I was like, what? This is fucked up.
But man, and there were times where on the back page of Boxy Lucha in the 70s. Where they had rundowns of all the shows in the areas for every week. I mean, and there were multiple shows on Sundays, You could spend a whole Sunday just going to wrestling and...
Well, you can still do that now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, in Mexico, you could do 2 or 3 shows in one day.
And on top of that, they had a better sense of America's wrestling history than America had.
Yeah.
I mean, they do stories on Jim Londos, Gorgeous George.
Like the older stuff they did. Like a lot of the older stuff, but
yes.
like current stuff, I think they kind of
Well,
they still know it. They like talk about
yeah.
They would
well,
talk.
I remember they kind of how do you say, jumped the shark a bit sometime in the 90s, because they used to be really good with dates and stuff like that.
Really?
Results with shows, or well, one example is every year, not just Boxy Lucha, but most of the Lucha Libre mags after 1979, in December, they would do a tribute to Sangre India, who died on Christmas Day at Arena Coliseo. And each year, Boxy Lucha would do a nice tribute on him. And then one year, suddenly one year, they got like the date wrong by, I think, 2 years when he died.
Oh, really?
Something weird like that. They started just...
It might be the people that, as they move on, there's somebody that...
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it changed ownership at some point and somebody just didn't...
You know, I'm kind of thinking that price, $63,000, is probably to fund the remaining Super Boxy Lucha. Because remember, they were going through some financial hardships.
Well, because for a while, we thought that they just folded.
Yeah, right? There was a period where they weren't doing anything, like at least for a couple of months. Like Super Luchas just stopped like doing their magazine for... I think they stopped doing it, earlier this year? Yeah. Magazines
are going the way of the dinosaur, period. I mean, whenever I go into a store, like Barnes & Noble, I kind of look at the magazine rack and I'll see people just kind of looking through them, but you never see people going up to the cash register with them anymore.
Yeah, it's like wrestling magazines. I remember when you could get like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the WWE magazine.
Yes.
And then there would be like 3 or 4 other ones, like maybe Inside Wrestling. And then after like a couple of years, I think when I first started, there was like the Napolitano magazine also.
Yes, Jordan.
And then there was like this newspaper-looking magazine also.
Yes.
That one, there was like 6 or 7 that were always there. Then like a couple of years later, there was like 2 less. There would be like 5. And it was always the After Mags and the WWE one. And maybe like somebody else would try to do one too. And then afterwards, it was just WWE and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And after
those
that,
were the last men standing.
And then like afterwards, I think right now I couldn't find one if I went to like whatever CVS or whatever.
I don't think I could either.
Yeah, or Walmart or something.
I remember in the 70s, whenever I would visit,
it kind of depressed me because I was like, man, I used to get magazines. I think they might still have PWI. I think I've seen PWI recently.
There must be something.
Yeah.
Well, I remember in the 70s, whenever I went up to Tulare, which is like between Bakersfield and Fresno, to stay with my aunt and uncle, during spring break or something like that. I was so excited because there was actually a bookstore that had all the wrestling magazines.
Wow.
Everything.
Yeah.
All the After Mags.
So you'd be like, I gotta buy all of these.
I would. Oh, yeah. It was like,
Or read all of them right there as you're there.
I would buy them and I would just hoard them. And I would have to hide the After Mags from my parents because... until I think 76, in the back pages they would have ads for blow-up love dolls or sex toys.
I'm gonna mention a mall that Conan mentioned on Jericho's podcast. Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso. They used to have a bookstore, and I used to my parents would go and my sister would go, and they'd go do their thing, go shopping, and they'd leave me at the bookstore, and I would just sneak into like a corner and just get the wrestling magazines and read them the whole time. That's all I did, like the wrestling magazines. I wouldn't buy them. I just read them there.
Yeah,
it's like I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna go buy.
Awesome.
I was like, how much does this cost? $4? Yeah, I ain't gonna buy it. But that was like I mean, I think I went to like one of the markets that I used to buy Boxy Luchas at. Mm-hmm. They don't just not have Boxy Lucha. They don't have magazines, period.
Yeah.
They got rid of the magazine rack. I'm like, dude, they got rid of the entire magazine rack.
Oh, I remember like 20-something years ago, you could find a Mexican bookstore that would have the Lucha mags of some kind. And
I don't know, maybe those bookstores you always still have those bookstores that are still around.
Like in Santa Ana, those
Well, there's always you'll find like a bookstore, like some I don't know if they might deal with like bringing in stuff from outside of the U.S.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean,
the magazines, not wrestling, but any magazine that survives today, I'd love to know their secret.
Yeah,
like why? It's like that desperation move. I guess Playboy magazine announced that they're not going to have nudity in their mags anymore. They're just
really.
Yeah.
When did they announce this?
A couple of weeks ago.
That sucks. Well, not that it matters.
Yeah, but I mean, are you...
Playboy magazine didn't really have a lot of nudity. It wasn't like as much as like the other ones.
Well,
or so I've been told.
I wouldn't know anything.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I would not know a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's for different tastes. Playboy was more the kind of.
Did I tell you this? I told you the story about that one this little old lady when we were cleaning her. We went to go clean her house. Mm-hmm. She this was I was in high school, and so we go over and she's like, her husband had just passed away.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, yeah, he left me a lot of stuff, and she's like, here, I have these things. You could have them, and I get them, and they're like these magazines inside like these black plastic wrap.
Uh-huh.
You know, like they sent them in black.
Yes.
Like, oh, cool. What is this? And I'm thinking maybe it's like a sports magazine. I take it out, and it's Playboys. It was the Sable. I think it was the Sable Playboy.
Oh, okay.
And like some other one, and I'm like, oh, thanks. And I'm like, dude, this is really awkward. I don't know this lady. I guess I must have entertained her like while I was talking to her or something.
Did she make any eyes at you?
Yeah, I don't know. She just gave me play. Was like, yeah, thanks. I took them. They might be worth something.
You never know.
That was my thing. I was like, it might be worth something.
What I think. You know, my generation, guys in the 70s, you know,
she probably figured I was a perv and gave them to me.
Which thing's all?
But
everybody's a perv.
I was a teenager, so I probably was.
well, before VHS players were a commonplace. I mean, when I was growing up in the 70s, that was the rite of passage. You're 12 or 13, you know, you get your first Playboy or younger, you know, but, you know, that's usually your first glance at nudity.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Surprised they're still doing magazines.
Yeah, but I bet, it's funny when I heard that they're not going to do nudity. Like, what kind of publicity move is that?
I love how we've transitioned to this. This is the closest thing we've gotten to.
Typical wrestling fan.
This is the
closest
thing we've gotten to talking about porn on this podcast.
Yeah, well,
we've actually done a good job.
I know that all the people listening right now, they're going to write something, how pathetic, they're talking about porn, but their ear is getting closer to their iPod.
It actually isn't as bad as when we're on road trips. So.
Exactly. And then you should hear our wrestlers talk when nobody's around.
Yeah.
So, I guess back to Lucha News.
Yeah.
A lot happening. Fill us in.
Yeah. Well, those Lucha Elite shows that we were talking about earlier, how I don't understand what they're doing. They're actually drawing very poorly, which kind of explains why I think they're not. The last show they had on this past Sunday, they had Cibernetico teaming with Black Warrior versus Atlantis and Caristico. Mm-hmm. Drew very badly. Like, it was like the Sunday CML regular shows. That's how bad they did.
Whoa.
Like, I think it was maybe, like, somebody estimated that was about 1,500 people at that show. And you know, Arena Mexico, that's like really a low.
That makes it
turnout.
look empty.
Yes, that's
different than Coliseo.
Yeah, Coliseo. If like you'd have to have like 50 people show up for it to be like empty.
Yeah,
and even if it's empty, it's like the way it's designed. It's kind of like you don't really notice it. Right. Unless the camera's like zooming everywhere and like some crazy guy like, oh. But Arena Mexico, like it looked really bad. There's a picture where Rambo's carrying a Singapore cane back to the back. And like you look at the sides of the ramp, and there's no people there.
Wow.
It's like, wow, that's really bad. Like it's just basically like the first 4 or 5 rows where there's people. So I guess that's not drawing. They're supposedly this Sunday they're going to have another Luchador Sorpresa. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing it's going to be Averno.
Okay.
We're guessing.
Well, there's been
that's been the rumor, Averno. Yeah. If it's not Averno, I mean, I don't know who else it could be. I mean, you're kind of starting to run out of guys like who it's going to be. They had other guys. They also announced like a bunch of other guys. Eterno, Canis Lupus. Canis Lupus is like a dude out of
IWRG.
IWRG.
Yes.
Yeah, you might have seen him match.
Yes.
Yeah. Is he the muscular? I think he's the muscular guy, right? Like he's a built guy or something.
Yes.
Yeah, because I can't remember that dude. Like it's like I don't remember.
I mean, it's more the name that sticks out in my memory than his actual work.
Yeah. And they're bringing in Taboo. I think we were talking about it. Yes.
Taboo. Yes.
Well, we're just talking about this right now. So it's like. I think they kind of like went through the 80 or 90 wrestlers that are listed in AAA. Yeah. Like they probably went on the Cubs fans roster page for AAA and were like, let's contact all these guys and see who we could get to jump. And they got Taboo to join the promotion. They also had the last show they had Muñeca de Plata, who is one of the Alvarados, Brazos, one of the daughters. So basically, just imagine a masked Goya Kong making her way back to Arena Mexico.
Trip out.
So it's like they really didn't lose anybody.
Hey, maybe that's a surprise wrestler, Goya Kong, to team with Muñeca.
Well, it's the main event, so it's not. No, but I'm saying she's now with Elite, so I'm guessing she's going to be with. Well, it also helps that I think she's in a relationship with the promoter.
Okay.
For Elite, so I think that probably helps. They actually have some good matches. They had Traumas. They're going to have Traumas versus Ray Cometa and Stuka Jr. But they had the Navarros, Traumas, and Negro Navarro versus the Casas family.
Oh, sweet!
They've had these really good matches with where it's Technicos going against Technicos, and they've basically started building up a Ray Cometa Golden Magic feud.
Yes,
their match this past week was really good. That's on that was filmed by a fan.
Nice.
So it's on YouTube. It was really good. What else is going on with them? They actually have some good talented wrestlers, but it's like there's no real build towards like what's next or anything.
Well, and it just seems like
it's more. It kind of feels like when they don't have a surprise, nobody goes. But when they have a surprise, people go. So that's like their big drawing card, a surprise. So it's like they've taken that's
their golden ticket.
Yes, like the surprise, and it's like at some point you're going to run out of surprises. It's like
you're going to have to actually promote and build programs.
Yeah, and it's like they're not doing that.
It seems to me like because CMLL is still running their regular schedule.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems like that's just too much in one central area, especially when you have people overlapping.
And, it'd be okay.
Guys
it'd be okay if like the promoter was like a good promoter, like a good, like if he knew what was going on, what he was doing, and it's like, but this group doesn't really it doesn't strike me as it kind of seems like, it kind of feels like one of those typical guys who got a money mark to back up.
I was going to ask.
And then he just kind of wings it with what he's doing. Like he's trying to get all the big stars. Yeah, like we were talking about how that one time that guy wanted to get Hulk Hogan for a show and stuff like that.
Yes,
thinking he could possibly do it. Well, this is kind of what I feel like this group is like. Oh, I could get Cibernetico, I could get Caristico, I could get all these big names, and then you can't get all those names, and then you're like, oh, I got Taboo and
right, exactly.
and Mini Murder Clown under a different name or something. It's like, yeah.
And even though there's the dejection in your voice, he's probably rationalizing.
Yeah,
but I got some of their.
Yeah, whereas you look at some of these other promoters, like the guy who runs Lucha Memes and now he calls it Charo, the promotion Charo promotion. That dude, like, he comes up with good matches, and there's like at least some build towards some other stuff. Like it's not necessarily something that's built every show, but you kind of sense that he's going to go with that at some point. Like he comes up with dream matches more or less, and then you have some other guys who like kind of book as they're going, like something. He has
something that people aren't just going to come for one good pop or one big surprise.
Plus he's good at finding talent.
Yeah,
he's really good at finding like not finding talent, but giving talent a chance to like get more exposure.
Yes.
So it's like that kind of works. But these guys, it's like CML could do this. Although I'm kind of what I would like to see them do if the end game happened was like this group, like somehow this group, some of these guys ended up replacing some of the CML guys that suck. Like if you take Cibernetico and he replaces Thunder, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I'd be happy.
Like Golden Magic. We're getting Golden Magic, we're dumping this dude. Like, we're dumping Inquisidor or something. It's like, oh, that'd be great. But it's like, I don't think that's the plan. It's like, it's just adding more stuff.
No, and it's... it seems like one of those experiments that just...
It's even more disorganized than CMLL. Even AAA is more disorganized than...
Well, and I've said this time and time again, is ever since I started following wrestling really seriously... You always hear about promoters working with each other, and everybody gets excited about two different promoters working with each other. It never works.
Yeah.
It just does not work. Maybe there is a rare exception, but...
Yeah, these guys, I mean, I think if CML is getting money out of it, it's great. But the other thing is, like, some of the matchups, like, if you told me, oh, they're going to make a 1-hour TV show, it's like, oh, cool. If it's like the mid card, it's like I don't really want to see Cibernetico versus anyone, really.
Well, and also,
I didn't really want to see Cibernetico against anyone in AAA either. So it's like I mean, the guy's great in promos. Like there's some cool stuff you could do with Cibernetico as a character if you're doing a 1-hour TV show. And like the last thing you really want to do is have him wrestle every single week. But it's like if that's what you're going to do, it's like that's not going to work.
Oh well, that's why I remember there were guys that I would see on TV when I was a kid, and they didn't do a heck of a lot of editing then, of course, but still, guys wouldn't be great wrestlers, but they had a good presence, and the matches would only go 3 or 4 minutes with guys like that. They would, just come in and steamroll
tell people to do that now. It's like, no, we're not. We got to have a 20-minute 2 out of 3.
Yeah, every match has to be 20 minutes.
2 out of 3 falls, and it's like, oh, dude, come on.
And it's funny, we were talking about the whole 2 out of 3 falls thing in the last episode, and it would be a little more compelling if not every match would be tied 1 fall apiece.
Yeah,
Well, I remember when...
Or when they end 2 falls, it always ends with, somebody fouling the
Yes.
It's like, it's the same thing.
Well, I remember Casas and Santo had a singles match at the Olympic before their hair versus hair, and the way they drummed it up is they had Casas beat Santo 2 straight falls.
Yeah.
And... it's not like an oops, Santo fell and lost. He got clobbered,
Yeah, there's ways they could do it, but it's like, now it's like, oh man, they're doing the same thing. I already saw this finish. And then, the worst one is when they do it, consecutively in one show. There's been points where you'll watch a show and it's, the same match. Although, if you watch Puebla, you would be like, you probably wouldn't have noticed it because you were so bored with it.
Exactly.
My God, this show is so boring.
You were having more fun counting the fans in the audience.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should have watched all the handheld footage from the Elite show and all this other stuff. The other group that actually had trouble this recently was the Que Viva El Rey tour.
Okay.
Which is splitting, using AAA talent with foreign talent.
Yes.
Brodus Clay. Mm-hmm. They're bringing in these big names like Brodus Clay. Magnus.
The money that's going around these days.
Not the Magnus from CMLL, but the Magnus from TNA.
Yes.
They were bringing in all these other guys. It's like, well, these guys are really going to do well. It's like, yes, they're not draws. They had a lot of trouble because that's the same time they started running shows at the same time that Lucha Underground was starting. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden they kept on switching all these guys. Like, this guy's not here because he's in Lucha Underground, or he's somewhere else. And it's like, I don't know. They didn't do very well. I think their last show actually did pretty well, but the rest of them were they did as poorly as Elite has been doing.
You don't picture them being around for too long.
Yeah, I don't think I can't see this guy. Well, it's a group that dabbled into wrestling, and I don't think they're going to dabble again. It's like, I don't think they're going to. Well, that's the thing. People think it's easy.
Oh, it's the age-old thing.
And if they think, I'm going to promote wrestling, and it's like, you do realize you're going to lose money. It's like, no, we're not.
Yeah,
we know what we're doing. We promote this other stuff.
Oh, I've heard guys say it again and again. I create a star. People come pay to see him. We use that money to fund the next show. I mean, even though they know better. I mean, yeah. They're
always trying to think they'll come up with something, but it's like, no. It's like, I always like when I go to indie shows and guys are trying to tell me, it's like, you're not going to do. But you don't want to tell them. You don't want to ruin their dreams and stuff like that.
No, if I was going to promote, I would do it for shits and giggles. I would do it just for kicks, and I have to be pretty rich to do it.
Yeah, that would be hard. I mean, if you did it, there's ways to do it. If you're but it's it's hard. It's not. You're not going to make a lot of money doing it. It's going to be.
And you also have all these fantasies in your head of how you'd book stuff, but you got to take into consideration
the
wrestlers not cooperating, or wrestler not showing up, or there's so many headaches.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember Capitan Oro when we were at that show in El Monte. He's saying, I don't remember you ever promoting. Have you ever thought about it? And I said, no, I've seen too many promoters.
Because you didn't even think about it when I was thinking of promoting it. You were like, I'm not going to do that.
No, when I was
That's your thing.
When I was younger, I used to think, how cool it would be to...
Yeah, because I remember when I was thinking of doing it, I was like, man, I hope Kurt doesn't get upset when I tell him he doesn't have any word in the promotion. And it's like, but you never brought it up I want to join, I want to go in on it or anything. It's like, I was like, okay, then obviously this is a bad idea.
Yeah. And the other thing is some guys are good navigators. Every now and then you'll get a guy who kind of has realistic expectations and kind of goes about it the right way, but the majority are people who sometimes go into it either insane and just the insanity goes in circles, or you get guys who have a pretty good mindset but don't understand what they're doing, and
well, see, like
they lose their minds.
Yeah, when I was doing it, I kind of told Superboy the budget, more or less.
Yeah.
Give me the budget so I would know what I would want to do, because I wasn't going to go all in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, spend all this money, fly in all these guys. And back when the first time we were talking about it, I mean, there wasn't really a lot of luchadors coming here. I mean, remember when we talked when we were talking to Negro Casas, and I told him, hey, when was the last time you've been to Los Angeles? And he had mentioned 8 years. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because I remember when I was doing it, I think only Bart was bringing them in with FMLL.
Yes.
And Bart was having a hard time bringing these guys in, dealing with the money. Financially, it was a little harder than.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that.
To be honest, I'd rather just book local guys and kind of do my own thing rather than just say, hey, look who's appearing next week.
Yeah, it would have been hard. No,
it's more headaches than it's worth.
Yeah, but at the indie level, I can understand. But then you always have these guys who like want to pour money into the business. Well, it's that one group, the Rock and Wrestling show that Johnny Legend did.
Yes.
Where the guy kind of expected more for the price that he got, and it's like, yeah, you only gave us a certain amount. You're not gonna get He wanted PWG level. He wanted a PWG level
and
show.
I flat out.
And you kind of told him, you're not gonna get PWG level at that price.
Yeah, because and it was funny because this is one of the things I love about Johnny is I remember that guy telling me yeah, I told Johnny I want to have some really good 5-star matches, and Johnny just got offended and says, we'll never do that in rock and roll wrestling. Incredibly Strange Wrestling is about terrible matches.
Yes.
It's about, just
having fun.
Yeah, but the thing is, when the guy was talking to me, I flat out told him, if you want 5-star matches, you gotta have some 5-star payoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell somebody go have a 5-star match for $20 because this promotion might take off and...
And the weird thing is, if you think about it, that show had Willie Mack and actually did have talent. Like, this was before that actually became these guys became names.
Exactly before before they were.
You guys probably would have gotten Steve Payne and guys like that if you would have kept going, because Steve Payne hasn't been in PWG.
Yeah, that's true.
Lil Cholo probably also would have.
Oh yeah.
All the luchadors would have done it.
I love the way Johnny put it. Says just bring as many stray wrestlers as you can.
Yeah,
we'll get it going.
Yeah, so that actually didn't do well. And then AAA announced their Guerra de Titanes lineup. Mm-hmm. Actually, they posted it there was a build-up of a few weeks where they posted just the poster with Ray and a couple of other people. And then they posted another one where they had to edit out Alberto and some other people and put in some other people. Yes. And then the third poster was a lineup for Guerra de Titanes, which was supposed to be on December 4th, which is this Friday, right?
Yes.
So then, I think last week they decided to cancel Guerra de Titanes. So now we don't know if I don't think it's going to happen this year.
I've been curious about that.
Yeah.
Do you know this?
That's just that's like a WCW level type of thing.
Yes.
Actually, WWE did that once, cancel a pay-per-view, right?
Did they?
Well, not even that. They're just the name. They just can't dump the names and just rename it. Isn't that what they do?
WCW?
WWE.
Oh, WWE. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, WCW canceled shows.
Yeah.
They rename shit all the time. Remember the Sold Out?
But they meant pay-per-views.
Pay-per-views they renamed all the time. Wow. Road Wild, Hog Wild. Remember? What was it? Hog Wild first, then they went to Road Wild?
Wild on Hogs.
Yeah, and then they had some
Hog
other...
on a Hog
they had some other show... They had some other one that they changed towards the end. The name of the show... I can't remember. I think it was Uncensored that they changed the name. One of those shows they changed at the end. Because I remember watching that paper and I was like, man, that paper sucks. the last one.
By that time I gave up on paper.
The 2000 ones. They had a different name. Oh, the New Blood or something.
Yeah.
That. They had a bunch of different ones. But it's that just seemed like...
But, okay, there's all this words about people jumping from AAA. A lot of this... Well, it sounds like people...
Well, that's the other thing. You have these guys jumping.
Yeah.
Alberto going to WWE, I can kind of understand, but when Caristico goes to this group that really doesn't really have what AAA has. I mean,
right.
AAA at least you get recognition. Elite, I mean, you don't really get that recognition you get. I mean, even CMLL doesn't get the recognition that AAA guys would get. And then you get Cibernetico jumping, which he may not be like a 5-star type of wrestler, but he's a name.
Yes.
He's got a name. He jumps, and then you have this cancellation, and it's like, what's going on with AAA?
I would love to know. I mean, you know how my memory is these days, but I think it was Steve Sims on the recent podcast with Brian Alvarez. I think he was saying there was factions and cliques that aren't getting along? Like there's people at the top and people under them are not happy? Have you heard talk about that, or is that just...
I'm guessing that's just what the guys that are jumping. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, because like I said, the Lucha Underground and the guys who aren't in Lucha Underground,
right?
They get more money doing Lucha Underground, whereas more recognition worldwide than they do in the other guys.
And
I think also bringing in all the foreigners, because that was always an issue with a lot of the guys. It's like, man, they're bringing in all these foreigners.
I could understand.
You know, like kind of like us with the took our jobs type of thing over here. You know, it happens over there in Mexico too. But it's like, yeah, you know. They're bringing in Brodus Clay. It's not that big of a...
Yeah.
Although he was in Que Viva El Rey, not necessarily AAA. Yeah, that's one of those weird things going on. Yeah, the one good news for AAA is that their webmaster came back. he updated he's going to update their website
what's
soon.
the story about him leaving in the first place?
He got a better job. He got a higher position.
He got a higher position?
Yeah.
He lose the position? Now he's got this position again?
No, I think... Well, I can't tell you why, but it's like... why can't? I could, okay, but it's not... Cool. It's not... Cool. It's not... I don't think he wants... I don't know if he wants or cares about
cool.
that. But he's back, basically.
And so he must...
He's close with the family, I'll just put it that way.
Gotcha,
yeah. He's close with the Roldan family.
And, the news that I've been wanting to hear is...
The Friday show?
No. The mascot interviews.
Oh, the mascot interviews that Cubs fan linked to on...
Yes, and I saw you talking about it on Twitter, and I said, we've got to hear the story behind the mascots.
Okay, so like Mije, Que Monito, and Zacarias El Perico, the 3 CMLL mascots, were interviewed by this sports show in Mexico, and they were asked about... they each were asked individually some questions. And Que Monito, they always ask each of them... Well, basically, the first thing they asked them how they got started and all that stuff. But so basically, do you want me to go through each one individually, or you want me to go like each question? Because I could do each question.
Each question.
Okay, each question. So they asked each of them how they got into wrestling. The only thing Que Monito I knew before because he mentioned it on another show. He actually did another interview, I think it was a 20-minute interview, where he said that he got started as because he would go to like the shows. Mm-hmm. And he would hang around with a lot of the midgets of that time, the the little people,
Arturito,
like Gulliver, the guy who played Gulliver and stuff like that. And he was saying that they saw him and they're like, and one time Tinieblas saw him, and Tinieblas wanted a mascot, so he went and asked the other guys who was that little guy that came with them. So he said, okay, can you ask him if he's interested in being my mascot? And so they trained him to be a wrestler and everything. So he got into wrestling. Mije couldn't remember. He just said he did train in lucha, but he just they were asking how he got started. He's like, well, they hooked me up with Alebrije, and that's how it kind of went. Alebrije, who's now Cranio. Right. So and then they get to Zacarias El Perico, and he's like, this is gonna sound funny. He's like, but I was at, they wanted him to get to wrestling, so they offered me a bag of Cheetos. and a 2-liter Coke.
Hey, one step closer to diabetes. How can you refuse?
So he's like, so I actually got into the ring and trained. And I was laughing because people were saying, well, there's actually guys who that's actually a better payday than most guys on the indie.
Yeah.
Well, you hear a lot of the luchadors. They'll tell you their first payday was a sandwich and a drink. You know, that's really their first payday. So some of them mentioned that they were lucky and got chicken, like a whole chicken, and they're happy about it. So then they started asking them what their injuries have been in wrestling. Mm-hmm. Que Monito's he's easygoing. He's like, I've gotten a lot of injuries, but I keep going. It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. And Mije, the same thing. He's had a lot of injuries. And they get to Zacarias El Perico, and he actually remembered both injuries he had. He mentioned once where he got tossed into the guardrail in Arena Mexico, and he was knocked out.
Ooh.
I think that was the time where they stopped. Remember, they stopped throwing him around.
Yes.
He would stay in the corner, or he wasn't even walking in with them.
Yes.
So that he remembered that one, and then he was talking about how he remembered another one where he got hit with a crutch, and got like he couldn't feel like he said he felt paralyzed for a bit.
Ooh.
So then they asked all three of them if they like to have a mask match, a 3-way mask match, and then they asked them if they would like it to be at the anniversary. Que Monito was like, he's like that he would like to have the mask match, but he said not at the anniversary because he didn't think that was like they weren't
appropriate.
That wasn't appropriate. He's like maybe at another big show.
That would almost be like the.
I thought he was very modest, like very modest.
That's pretty cool because that's like I remember they had that big when Kerry Von Erich won the title from Ric Flair. And it was this really huge show, and then each year was it David Von Erich Memorial?
Yeah.
And then I think just like 2 years later, there was a mud wrestling match in. That doesn't.
It seemed to lower the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, and he said in another, and then they asked him if and he even mentioned he's like, and we wouldn't be the main event. He's like, I don't think we should be the main event. Somewhere in the middle of the card. But it's like, it's so funny because it's like, who... And I'm sure, people would actually go watch it.
I'd watch it.
And then they asked Mihe, and he said he would like it too. And then they get to Zacarias El Perico, and he said he would like it. And he's like, and they asked him, whose mask would you like to take? He's like, I would really like to take Que Monito's mask. He's like, Mihe, not so much because I don't really care about him. I was just laughing. So it was one of those.
I could just picture the match. Not so much how they would work it, but I could just picture people like Negro Casas doing run-ins.
Yes, like Negro Casas. Yes. You know what would be awesome if they had the three-way match? Because they asked Mihe if his second would be Cranio, and like it's funny. He said, yeah, probably, but whoever CMLL wants, I'll have a second. I'm like, dude, it would have to be Cranio. Why would we? Que Monito second would. He has options. He could go with Porky, Maximo, or Shocker. Although Shocker now is the heel, so not really him. But Maximo, he has options. Yeah. Whereas Zacarias would have to be Negro Casas just because we would need to have like Negro Casas like cheering him on.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Well, you've seen them do like you saw that one match where they did the spots where had no sold Zacarias doing a dive.
Yes.
Yes, that was awesome. Like I like how Zacarias is like he trips like before he even does a dive, he trips and then he gets back up. And then he like misses the dive like by 6 inches, and you just see Mihe just standing there like he's not even gonna sell it. Whereas you're watching matches and the guys are like selling drop kicks like that are completely off.
Yeah, or there's a tope and it hits the guy's wrist and he takes.
Yeah. He still does the fall, and it's like these guys at least are trying to do that stuff. We should talk about the Friday show.
Okay.
That you didn't watch. That I
did not watch on Claro
Sports. And you should have watched it.
So. Claro Sports still going strong.
Yeah, right? Apparently they're still doing it. Not sure if it's always one of those we still don't know, but one of us will check sometime on either Thursday or Friday to see if it's still up or see if they're mentioning it. Usually they do. And this week's show, it wasn't that I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably like a 6, 7. But it kind of like it actually got a higher rating because it got a lot more buzz because of who was sitting ringside.
It got a rating of 3.8 double D, right?
Yes.
What you said.
Yes.
Tell us about this attraction.
Liz Vega was sitting like in the first row. So she was wearing like this really skimpy red dress, showing her assets.
Very low cut.
Yes, and pretty much after every fall, they made a point to cut to her. Even, like, maybe not every fall, but, like, even at certain points. So it actually made some of the bad matches, like, at least be, like, you could forget the action because you're seeing her. And then, like, as they zoomed out, you noticed that she was sitting with a lot of other good-looking women. So, like, that was basically the highlight of the show.
Well, you showed me the picture of her, and, my gosh, she's stunning.
Yeah.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now... for us gringos who don't know who Liz Vega
I didn't even know who she was. Like somebody.
Oh, no way! But she's like
a television celebrity and stuff like that. Yeah.
Reality show or movies?
TV, movies, stuff like that. Reality. I'm sure she's done reality. Well, everybody does reality.
But
now.
Somebody who basically
made it on TV and stuff like that.
Not somebody who jumped in a reality star, but a TV star.
Yeah. Nowadays they do, like in Mexico, they do those like La Isla and all those shows, like Survivor, but with like celebrities. They do a show like that.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody does it. The highlight of that show was Dragon Lee versus Kamatachi, which you didn't watch.
Which I didn't watch, and I've heard a lot of people talking about.
You said you were going to watch.
And I haven't.
You didn't even watch it?
Nope.
No preparation for this podcast.
This is my worst preparation ever. About the only preparation.
No, it's not. You've done worse. You've done worse.
I watched absolutely nothing.
You've done worse.
Nothing.
We're gonna listen to every Slam and Stand. Well, Slam and Stand. You're not counting Slam and Stand, right?
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
I'm just talking about
Lucha World. Okay. Yeah, the Dragon League Kamitachi match was really good. They had this one. They did this one dive to the outside, and as Dragon League does the dive, you see Liz Vega running from her seat. Thinking that because they would do like stuff in her intersection, she'd just run to it. Like she actually thought they were gonna like jump over or something. Although I'm sure they probably might have threatened her, like
I'm
warned
sure
her or something. Yeah. So that match was really good. The finish was really sick. It was a Canadian destroyer type. Dragon Lee was doing like a power bomb and like got caught into he reversed into a Canadian destroyer.
Oh,
looked really cool.
Oof.
Although that probably wasn't the best move I saw this week. That I saw one early. I'll talk about it in a bit.
Okay.
They also continued the Panther Super Commando feud.
Oh yes.
Which looks like it's going to be a good match.
Towards mask versus mask.
I really like the Panther. You know, it's kind of funny. You lose Sombra, but then you have the Panther and all these other guys. You see, they got some other guys that can move up and take over their spot. So that's why I was telling you, like, there's some good and bad when it comes to not elevating it, like pushing a guy, but it's like you have other guys that you could like replace them with.
I gotta be honest, I've only seen Super Commando, I think, twice. I liked him.
My goodness, twice? He's been in CML for 10 years. More than 10 years. I think it goes back to 2003.
That shows how much
you've only seen him twice. I've seen him 1,547 times. I'm just kidding.
Glad you kept
Can you imagine somebody like really Fredo's keeping count of the number of Super Commandos?
Actually, I would bet you I've seen him in 6-man tags.
You've probably seen him a few times.
But I mean, where I'm cognizant of him.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good. It's funny, he was on Informa and he was talking about how he kind of hoped he would get pushed based off this feud. It's like, I mean, he's good enough. Like him and Artiero, his brother, they should have been pushed a long time ago. But I don't know. They rather push the... And you know, it's not. I don't think it's so much that they should be necessarily pushed, but maybe like the
elevated
lower card. You know, do a little more with them.
Well, also, there's no crime on not being on top, but there's some guys you should elevate out of the openers.
Well, you know what it is. I think the problem with CML is like they're old school, so like openers kind of like viewed as a negative.
Right.
Whereas if you watch AAA, the opener isn't viewed as a negative. Opening match is kind of. You could do whatever you want. You could have a good match if you want.
It's almost like an all-star show.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Ice capades are coming.
You don't necessarily have to be the. You don't have to. They don't limit you. You don't have to be like the. You don't have to be. Maybe they tell you not to do certain stuff, but it's like. But it's like, it could be the best match on the card, and they're fine with it. Whereas with CML, it's like you could kind of. They can dive. Right. In the first match, and it's like, then they make sure. I think they purposely make sure that it's like a really like bad match. Because they keep all these guys on the roster like Danny Casas, Canelo Casas. Danny Casas is the other bad, one that's a night.
Well, but no, there's sense to that because, you know, as I was growing up, the openers were supposed to be entertaining, but. You don't try to have everybody have to follow what you did.
Yeah, but that's like this back then. Nowadays,
I know. Yeah,
nowadays,
but I still think it's applicable.
Yeah, it's not. It can't. Like it's one thing to be like. Because you were saying they're entertaining. Some of these aren't even entertaining.
Well, no, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I
like if you watch that Puebla show, you'd be like, "Why are these guys even?" Well, yeah. It's one thing. It's also different because it's Puebla.
But if you're using some quality guys in the opener, I mean, if they're good workers. They should be able to do a good match and maybe do one dive.
Yeah,
and
especially on a Friday show. Like I can understand not like limiting them on a Tuesday or on a Saturday show, Puebla, Guadalajara, all those other shows. But Friday should be like the show you want people to say, "Hey, this is the show I want to go watch." You know, this is what I want to watch. And it's like, they book the shows like,
Because I remember the good promotions. You know, when I first started going to live shows. The ones that were quality, the openers would be good matches, but it wasn't something where the next match had to really follow what the opening match did. It was entertaining, but you did not upstage the people.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't, you know, if you went to see a production of Hamlet, you know, you're not...
Yeah, but you didn't have that many guys going as good as, like, nowadays, like the guys in Mexico. the work rate. Like guys weren't as you had a lot of guys.
No.
You had a lot of like slower wrestlers too, like because you had to put over the muscular, the bigger guys. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean,
that was the American way of thinking. Like you had to put over
even
guys.
like with like Hadco Plaza, which I always talk about. The opening guys were awesome. I mean, they're really talented, but they did hold for hold.
Yeah.
And if it was the opening match would be one fall, but the other matches, if it was 2 out of 3 falls, they wouldn't break out into high spots until the 3rd fall. But it was still great stuff.
Yeah.
But the really fast paced stuff was saved for the last 2 matches, and I still think that would hold today if they did it right.
The trouble is now is like with CMLL, you got guys higher in the card that can't do that stuff.
I know.
So it's like why hold these guys lower in the card?
They need to be pickier about who they because there's talent.
Yeah,
in
because
Mexico.
you're basically not letting these guys go all out in certain matches, and then then you have Thunder in the main event. It's like there's no way a match featuring Thunder is going to be good.
Oh God, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, that one match I told you that I thought was okay. I mean, it was just your average good match that nobody's going to remember, besides myself that I remember it being pretty good.
Thunder is not the thorn.
Thunder Rant of the Week. Brought to you by Design by Humans.
And we're going to keep doing it. It's about the only thing that... I usually don't get bugged by stuff like this.
No, but like even...
He's not even the thorn in their side. He's the stake through their heart.
Even you could have like a really good match, and then all of a sudden the match that follows it is the Pure Oath.
Yeah.
And it's like... How's that gonna like? How are those guys gonna do more than the guys that before them? They can't.
Yep.
Because they have one guy who can't do shit.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like you got to have like a standard. Like if you want a good show, and you're gonna tell these guys lower in the card, hey, you can't do this stuff. Like at least these guys could say, hey, I can't do what Sombra does. Mm-hmm. I can't do what Rush. I can't do what Sombra, Rush versus Volador and Mystico 2 do because they're actually having a good match.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I can't do what Thunder with Dragon Rojo and Pulvera versus Guerreros Laguneros are doing, and it's like it's just a basic brawl that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And of course, I'm thinking ideal situations.
Yeah.
I've grown up seeing ideal situations, but there are a lot more clusterfucks in wrestling.
They've kind of cut back on match. Have you noticed they cut back on match relampagos lately too? I've noticed that.
Which is a bad idea because I think that...
Well, actually, they did the Dragon Lee match, so I can't...
The Dragon Lee Kamikaze? Yeah. I think that's one of the most appealing things.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like the way they do them because there's a way to do them because I don't think the guys like... That match has a timer. Mm-hmm. Guys should be like speeding up and trying to win as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
But it's like they slowly build it up.
For those last 2 minutes, they should be trying desperately.
Yeah, and then the last 2 minutes trying to get the pinfall. Like they could slowly build it up at the beginning, but like last 2 minutes have to be a little more fast paced. And it's like only like Blue Panther and Virus could get away with. Negro Casas can get away with like a slow mat wrestling type because they're really good like at doing that. But it's like when you have like certain guys like
Well, a lot of guys aren't learning it.
Yeah, and then the other big match that they were kind of building up to was they had Super Parka versus Negro Casas, like a trios match, and they're building up a Super Parka Negro Casas feud. And Super Parka he's not as good as he used to be.
He's not as super as he once was.
Like, let's just say I would probably have. It's a good thing I would not. I haven't seen Volador Jr. lately. I would be like, man, your dad's not that good,
Oh, why do you say that?
Super kick.
You're just such a nice guy.
Yeah, super kick. You see, you take a picture of me getting super kicked. Fredo telling because. I mean, Volador. I told Volador Jr. all the stuff I didn't like about CML, and it's like, ugh.
But he was okay with it.
Yeah, it was okay because I was telling him I didn't like the fact that they kept doing repetitive matches. I go every single week you guys are working Guerreros de Laguneros, and he's just smiling at me like, yeah. I go and it's like the same stuff. It's like the same finish, the same everything, and he's like yeah. He's like he didn't want to say more. It's like yeah. I just felt like I had to bend.
Yeah, job security is a good.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird because it's like you kind of like as a fan you kind of expect more, but it's like they're not gonna do it.
Exactly.
It's like the whole Hijos del Infierno thing. everybody was like, man, Hechicero's tailor-made for this group. And it's like, yeah, we're going to bring in this guy, Luciferno. And it's like,
Because you're thinking...
Oh, and that group is so boring now.
Well, and again, that's talking about when you're thinking out of the box. You can think of all these great ideas, but when you're actually within the promotion, there's nepotism. You're trying to keep somebody from getting your spot, or if you're booking, you don't want another booker to get more power than you have.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do weird things, you know.
Yeah, it's like when you look at the Hijos del Infierno when Averno was there, they were a little more fast. But plus,
there's Averno.
Yeah, Averno, and then Hefesto's gotten older. Luciferno's not. I mean, he got worse when he switched over to that gimmick than he was before. Mephisto, he's all right, but I mean, I don't think he's as good as Averno ever was.
No.
So it's like, I don't know. I think that's a group I would just just explode and let Mephisto do something. Like I like Mephisto.
Have the focus be on him.
And like get rid of the other two guys.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not, because Hefesto is kind of family with them in that group, in that promotion. And you know, when you hear that his son's training to be a wrestler, you're like, oh, maybe they're trying to get his son at some
exactly. And it's not just politics. It's
all these family members.
You don't want to rock a boat too much.
Yeah. So with Super Parka, I mean, the guy Super Parka looked good against Rush because Rush was just beating the shit out of him, and it's more of a brawl. But when they start doing like mat wrestling and trying to do stuff off the ropes, he just doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, so Casas is gonna. I don't know why Casas would want that match, but hey, you know, it's so weird. This is weird. Negro Casas, Ultimo Guerrero, and Atlantis. Who have they been planning a singles match against? Name every single guy that they've been planning. Can you think of I just told you Negro Casas is Super Parka.
Super Parka.
And he's pretty bad. Atlantis wants a singles match with Cibernetico.
Okay.
And Ultimo Guerrero wants a singles match with Thunder. It's like this weird death wish
weird.
It's like a death wish these guys have.
Well, maybe the three friends are hanging around and saying,
we could.
Well, you remember how I wanted?
Anybody could. If I could do it, you could.
Yeah,
I could do it better than you.
Remember how I was intrigued with seeing Tejano versus Blue Demon Jr.?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I
wanted to see how good Tejano Jr. could carry him or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's an art in itself. So, as much as I hate the thought of Ultimo Guerrero versus Thunder, I would love to see how far Ultimo Guerrero can take it.
I don't know what it is, but Ultimo Guerrero hasn't looked the same since he got hurt. I think maybe he's still trying to recover, or he just hasn't.
That might be.
That.
But now Casas, I could see making that match something.
Casas Super Park, I could see working.
Yeah,
I could see that working, especially if it's a hair match.
Yes.
I mean, Super Park has looked really bad, but like I said, when he brawls with Rush, it's kind of looked okay. So
it's when he gets out of his element.
When he starts doing it's not element; it just can't do it anymore. Like the mat work and the.
Yeah, actually not element, but
because he used to do that.
Like it makes sense for him to brawl, but when he does the mat work.
Well, that's what he was doing when he was in Nuevo Leon, and that was like 10 years ago, and it worked when he was really looking good in that area. Yeah, so that's basically the CMLL stuff. I mean, not really a lot going on lately with them, other than that stuff, and being bored out of your mind watching Puebla. Atlantis and Ultimo are still having a feud too, which is hilarious. We should talk about the CMLL Bodybuilding Competition.
Yes, go into this.
Astral won Mr. CMLL, for those who might have missed it. So, they had an exhibition of, actually they started with dancing, some random dancing to start.
Wait, do they usually do that with the bodybuilding thing?
No, I don't know what they were doing with the dancing.
Weird.
The dancing, they gave it a name. I think it's like some sort of exercise that they do, some dancing exercise.
Like
dance.
a Zumba or something?
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, 15 minutes of that kind of seemed a bit much.
That's odd.
And then they did the student exhibition where they do tumbling and they do like drop kicks and stuff like that. In the past, last year, they actually had guys wearing their mask and doing all that stuff. This year, everybody was unmasked.
No way.
So there really was no idea. We couldn't figure out who anybody was. Like,
I thought that was one of the cool things about the tournaments.
The exhibition, the
exhibition. I guess I should call it.
Yeah, it wasn't a tournament, but they were just doing like this, like tumbling and stuff like that. But Tony Salser did mention one of the kids, 16-year-old kid. He actually thought the guy was going to have a lot of talent. So I don't know.
Very cool.
I also noticed Tony Salazar T-shirts.
No way!
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes, Tony Salazar T-shirts.
Oh my god! I was like, one.
Yeah, I was like, Tony Salazar has like old school Tony Salazar, not the current old grumpy.
Seriously,
dude.
the first couple of issues of Lucha Libre I bought in '72. I remember there was one that had a photo feature of him with this badass looking woman in.
Yeah, because he had the whole like the hair, like the. Whole...
Yeah, he had that handsome bad boy look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part badass, part glamorous, you know?
Yeah.
And he just had this, like, just nasty-looking women in one of those, like, just barely bikinis, you know? And I just thought, this dude looks so cool. Why doesn't he ever come here to L.A.? And
yeah.
I don't think I ever... Well, I never saw him as Prime, obviously.
Yeah, so then they went to the bodybuilding competition. They had they have it split up into categories. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that the first category is the beginner group, mm-hmm. which is, like, packed. It has 16 guys or 12 guys. I think it was 12 guys.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of interesting guys. They had Emperador Azteca, who's wrestling the elite shows. He's actually pretty good. They had Heavy Metal 2. Remember we were talking about why Canelo Casas didn't take... They kept asking him why he didn't take the name. Because he looks a lot like Heavy Metal. Yeah. Well, this guy is Heavy Metal 2. I think it's Heavy Metal's actual son.
Oh, no way.
I don't know, but I mean... It actually, I think... Because I even went on his Facebook page, and that's... He said he was Heavy Metal too. Mm-hmm. Who else was on it? There was somebody else who was related to somebody. Yeah, I can't remember. But there was this guy named Rocket Rojo who wore like a pilot mask, but not like Stuka's. That looks like a pilot. His was actually had goggles and
no way.
The little hat. like an old school pilot, and I was like, that is awesome. So you see this guy posing, and he's actually being a total like a ham, hamming it up for the camera, like all this stuff.
Tailor made for a gig.
Yeah. Apparently, I think he's American. So Rob told me he was American.
Rocket Rojo, I love the name alone. I've been seeing that name all over.
Yeah.
Last week
so then they had I can't remember. I think Principe Diamante won that. Then they had the women. Mm-hmm. Actually, they had a bunch of the men. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the women. One of the women was a girl named Zanelli.
Yes.
And I could not get her name because I think the guy heard her name wrong, so he said Salari. Mm-hmm. So I kept calling her Salary until somebody said Zanelli, and I didn't notice it. Cubs fan was the one that noticed that the mask had a mano negra type of thing, but this girl had a great body, I thought she was just a bodybuilder. I thought, just somebody to fill in the group. But apparently she's Mano Negra's daughter.
That is a trip. Now...
I guess she's the one that's training to be a wrestler.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm guessing when she starts, she'll probably be the popular one that everybody, gravitates to. Like, yeah, you're great, you're awesome, and she's really not that great or whatever. But she looked... I actually thought Mano Negra's daughter was one of the two girls that was in the exhibition. They had two girls training.
So it wasn't really a wrestler's body; it was a bodybuilder.
It was like, well, I mean, kind of like a, bodybuilder. Because I can't really think of more of a diva type of. Because
I remember when
not even a diva, because she was really well built for a model, more like a model. I'd say more like a model.
Okay, gotcha. Because I remember what I dug about when they'd cover the bodybuilding tournament in the magazines each year, like 20-something years ago. I always dug how these women had really great physiques, but they're definitely women wrestler physiques. Yeah. The strong legs and the... Well,
that's the thing. When they did the competition, everybody complained because she looked so much more fit than the other women. Other than Dallas. Dallas does look like she's, she actually works out. But, Yuvia doesn't have that. She has more of a wrestler body. I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, it's not negative. No.
Yeah, but it's just
she
doesn't have muscles. She doesn't have abs and shit like that.
Exactly. They're strong. You can actually see the bicep, the shoulders, but it's not a bodybuilder.
Yeah, yes. And
I think that looks cool.
This girl actually looked like she didn't look like a wrestler. That's why I was like, is she a wrestler? Because she doesn't look like a wrestler.
Yeah. See me. I judge more for the one who looked like a wrestler.
Yeah, but it is a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah. True.
So this is why I was like, that's weird. But the guy I ended up winning was Astral, who looked like you've seen him, the midget, the mini, the midget, the mascot, the mini luchador. I'm calling him all the names. La Mascara, when he lost, he flipped off the fans and was telling them that he's like it does that he didn't care because they're ingobernables.
Oh, that's awesome.
He just showed up, and they actually got prizes. I think the grand prize was close to $1,000.
Damn.
So it wasn't that bad for and then they got cash prizes like like those in supplements and stuff like that. I'm guessing it's supplements, so steroids. I don't know.
They don't have to take those veterinary steroids as some of the wrestlers take. They get the real thing, or growth hormone. The
match I think people should watch from everything I watched this week. AAA, November 6th from Xalapa. Aerostar, Fireball, Australian Suicide versus Daga, Hijo de Pirata Morgan, and Steve Payne. Fun match.
Oh,
it's
really?
only 17. Okay. It's only 17 minutes long. It's actually pretty good.
Now, is that one we could find on Cubs fans' site?
It's on AAA site too. You can watch the whole show if you want to watch the entire thing.
Watch the match.
Yeah, Aerostar did this cool dive where he actually looks like he's getting suplexed into the crowd.
Was that the one you're mentioning?
Yeah,
oh my god,
that was really good.
I usually wouldn't.
It looks scary. I'm sure it looks scary. I'm sure that wasn't his intention.
Yeah,
but it looked like that, and I was like, "Holy shit!" He landed in the crowd.
It's one of those ones where, since I know he's okay, I'm up for watching it.
Yeah, you're like, holy, because I mean, the guy made sure to keep him, which is why it looked like a suplex.
Yeah,
because like I think held him, made sure he didn't land badly. But it was really good. I mean, those guys are all really good. See, and that's what I mean. I think that's why people, when they talk about CMLL, they're like, how come we're not getting this kind of match? Like the AAA match. It's like, because they got to throw in like Thunder and Porky and all these guys.
Yeah.
It's like they got to throw in that one guy who's like, oh, this guy's in the match. Okumura. Although Okumura tries, he doesn't.
See, I'm always a fan of somebody who tries, even if they're not the smoothest.
Yeah. But it's always funny. You watch a CML, like my rules, like there's always 4 out of 6 in a CMLL trios match, where 2 of them you're just like, this isn't going to be that as great as you think it's going to be.
Exactly. You kind of know going in.
Yeah.
And if I go in with low expectations, at the worst, I'm bored.
Well, it's like that Rey Scorpion group.
Yeah.
Rey Scorpion with the group, great, because Rey Scorpion's there, and the other 2 guys are good at catching guys. But it's like once it's no Rey Scorpion, it's like because it's Thunder in for Rey Scorpion. It's like, oh god, that's like a huge drop off. Yes,
talk about a buzzkill.
Rey Scorpion's in Arizona right now, so
harsh.
Yeah, so. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that covers a lot of news. And if the momentum behind the scenes keeps up the way it is, we'll probably do another podcast very, very soon.
Yeah, we're on a roll now. This
is kind of cool. So message to wrestlers in CMLL and AAA.
Get better so we can talk about you.
No, keep on jumping. Keep on jumping to each other's promotion so we always have a reason to do a podcast.
Yes. Actually, we'd rather have that than people like dying and stuff.
Exactly. I don't want anybody to die. Yeah. No. I want...
Jump from promotion. Actually, by the time because next show, we're still a couple of weeks away from Lucha Underground.
That's true. Well, I noticed that on the Wrestling Observer webpage, right before the major MMA pay-per-views, they have... Dave Meltzer and Alvarez and a few of the other Mike Sempervive, they all pick the winners. We should, before each podcast, like 5 days before each podcast, pick who we think's gonna jump.
You want to do that now? Who we think who you think's gonna jump for Sunday? Who's gonna be the mystery luchador and elite?
I'm gonna say Averno.
Averno?
Yeah.
I think it's Averno too.
Okay. Damn, we gotta get...
Watch it. It could be somebody else. I mean, it could be somebody else.
Surprise guests sometimes aren't big surprises, or they're like, what a surprise!
I like somebody got. I said I was disappointed when Black Warrior was a surprise, and somebody's like, why is everybody so disappointed in this Black Warrior? I'm like, dude, it's Black Warrior in 2015.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's the weirdest thing. Fans don't understand that wrestling, like. You're not going to get excited about somebody you saw in 2000. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, exactly.
If this was Black Warrior from 2000, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
And also, he'd have to be somebody that had this connection where fans, even if he wasn't good, fans are like, oh my god, we get to see him again. But it's like... We're going back to that one where we're talking about, oh man, I can't believe how much time flies. Yeah.
Cibernetico. I couldn't believe the last time he tried to jump, he jumped from AAA, remember? Mm-hmm. That was like 5 or 6 years ago.
God, that was...
I thought it was... I was doing... Because I've been working on something, and it's like, wow, this is like...
It does weird me out, It's true what they say, as you get older, time flies faster, and it's freaky.
I actually think, like, Cibernetico would work in CML if they actually, like I was saying, like, did the stuff where they made it a little more gimmicky. If they actually did their TV show the way, like, Lucha Underground and stuff like that.
Well, you know, and I think they...
And didn't have him wrestle so much. Like, actually had him with a cool trio. Like, if you dump Luciferno and had Cibernetico with Mephisto and Nefesto, I could see that working.
Yeah, because you have all this gimmicky stuff which should be good for TV, like La Peste Negra.
Yeah. But it just doesn't translate when it's just a regular wrestling show.
Right.
Because people are like, man, they're just Mr. Niebla. There's Mr. Niebla laying on the floor, like,
exactly.
drunk. So it doesn't work like it would work like on TV. Like somebody was like, if there was a little more to it, like, oh, they're
exactly. I mean, I did watching La Peste Negra. They don't get old to me, but at the same time, it'd be nice. It'd be better if I'm saying, "Oh, what are they going to do with them this week?"
Yeah,
but you are seeing the same.
Yeah, it's just the same match. Yeah, it's the same match. It's like you're just glad when it's if it's Carbonario replacing one of Mr. Niebla or Felino. When it's not him replacing one of those guys, it's like, oh man.
Now, Carbonario is one of those rare guys where it almost doesn't matter if he's wrestling the same person week after week because that guy just finds a way to make every match interesting. And when he throws. Something I just noticed, when he throws punches, he doesn't do like what I call rest punches, like punches to just get somebody in a corner.
I got to mention this about the parrot, Zacarias. Okay. They asked him what was the best part of being part of the Peste Negra, and he said being dirty. And I just started laughing.
I am getting to be a big fan of this guy. Huge fan, actually.
This is one thing I find amusing. Like I bet you, like wrestling fans who are getting into lucha. Mm-hmm. They must be really weirded out when they see we're watching a CMLL match and like all of a sudden they have to have like a section where Que Monito or Mije or Zacarias get involved and actually do spots with the wrestlers. And I bet you people are like, why are they doing this? And they're probably like, oh, this match it makes no sense. And then like us who watch lucha, it's like, oh yeah, they're doing that, and just continue on. it's like, and you're actually laughing about it because they're not doing it in every match. But it's like,
and remember, I think it was last time when I talked about how I think the best wrestling shows are the ones where if you watch it in a different language, you're still compelled to watch.
Yeah,
like my example was the Argentina wrestling. Even though I couldn't speak a lick of Spanish, I could get most of it, and the things I couldn't get if I watched week after week, it would finally click.
Yeah.
You know, and to be honest, I think if I...
But I want like guys from Mexico to explain that to American wrestling fans. Like, that would be like the most fun. That people would be like, why are they? And they'd be like, what's wrong with that? Like,
I know.
I don't get it. Why don't you guys?
Season rule.
I'd be like, don't you guys use mascots in between your matches to like take a break and let them do something? They'd be like, no.
And that's what I love is you have somebody like Negro Casas, who was just such a skilled wrestler, who could have this knockout match. But there's, the closest thing I could think of is if you didn't speak the language in English language and we're watching WrestleMania 3. Why is there a hairy bald guy in Ricky Steamboat's corner with a little stuffed animal and he's saying, mine?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
It's just one of those weird things that you kind of imagine fans are probably like, why is that going on?
We should have a special episode called a premiere of Lucha Libre for the American fan.
Yeah, where we just talk about the weird, like the what's going on now.
The more offbeat.
Yeah, not the stuff from the past, because a lot of fans like, when they ask us, why are there 2 out of 3 falls matches, and you try to explain it like from the past.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's a lot different because 2 out of 3 fall matches now are a lot different from like 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Because I mean, now you have the Ultima Guerrero rule where it's like short first fall, short second fall, long third fall.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like oh, that's like more of a recent thing. Although it's been done before, but it's like it's more common now. Like even in trios matches, or like. Why do they have to pin that one guy, but the other team pinned the 2 guys in the other fall? And it's like, because that guy's the captain.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other guys, you got to pin both guys or the captain.
And I always thought that was one of the coolest rules.
Yeah.
I always dug that rule.
We should do a Lucha for Dummies podcast.
Let's do it.
We should. Just like write down everything that they need to learn to like get into Lucha. the one section where it's like talking at this point in the 3rd fall. You let your little midget, who's standing next to you, who's dressed as a parrot, This should be like for wrestlers. For wrestlers trying to get to... For wrestlers getting into lucha.
Yes.
That should be a... And like at this point, you get little Zacarias El Perico. He's dressed as a parrot. In your corner, in your opponent's corner, is a little blue monkey. Now you two have to tag out and let the little blue monkey come in and the little parrot come in and have their 2 minutes to shine.
Exactly. And all in-ring activities between wrestlers is to cease. It's open season.
You all stop and you just stand in the corner and let them. And then if they continue, that's when you super kick one of them. It's like, what do you mean super kick them? Oh, and at this point, at the 15-minute mark, you giant swing the little mascot.
And then the one thing that you and I cannot explain, can find no reason, where we're just baffled ourselves. What is that one thing that we cannot figure out about present-day Lucha Libre?
Why is Thunder in a match?
Absolutely.
Why is Thunder in Mexico?
Yeah.
It should just be like this ongoing, like just a bunch of like stuff like getting into first time watching Lucha.
Yeah, let's start thinking about that. So, yeah.
Explain some of the big names, some of the pop stars.
Absolutely, yes.
Nero Casas. And then people are like, why is Nero Casas hanging out, holding hands with the parrot? And it's so hilarious. Seriously, like when you see them walk down the the stairs, it's not Mr. Niebla holding the parrot's hand. It's never Felino. It's Nero Casas. Because he's the one responsible one. Mm-hmm. He's the father.
He's the one responsible one, but he... At the same time, his whole image is the most childlike one at the same time.
Yeah,
He's the leader of those three, you know?
See that picture I posted? That I think I can't remember who posted it, but it's Negro Casas like grabbing his hair and like pulling it out.
I didn't see that.
Yes, it's awesome. Chris Downer was on.
I gotta find that.
I posted on Twitter too.
Okay, well. Hopefully, pretty soon, we will get Lucha for Dummies, the premiere for Lucha fans who want to be Lucha fans.
Yeah.
And...
we'll explain all the promotions, too.
Yeah, that's a great idea, too.
Yeah, we should do that. We should just do like a... Because, there's going to be weeks where there's nothing going on.
Yeah, okay.
Liz Vega can't attend every CMLL show.
Damn it! Oh.
And we can't talk about that every single show. Worst case, we'll talk about Playboy again.
Yeah. Suddenly, I'm having these flashbacks to reading the Lucha magazines with Rossi Mendoza in them.
Yeah.
That was my Liz Vega when I was a little tyke. Oh, jeez, Rossi. Okay.
That was too much.
Okay, now we're getting really creepy.
Yeah.
As we are wont to do. So we're gonna let it go here and.
Oh, this Friday, check out Dragon Lee versus Kamatachi.
This Friday.
For their title match.
Oh, Claro Sports.
Claro Sports should be good.
Check it out, and we will hopefully talk to you in a few weeks. Maybe sooner. You never know. You never know.